Gabby Petito did not have to die, and she shouldn't have died the way that she did. But what can we do about that now? I believe there's two things that we should be doing. Number one is finding Brian Laundrie, bringing him out of hiding, and making him accountable for his part. And that's being done, as we speak, by the people who are capable. The second thing I believe we should be doing is encouraging others to take personal responsibility in relationships to make sure that this never happens again. And that's what I'm here doing. My name is Kevin, and this is The Royal We. Gabby Petito had an opportunity that most people who experience domestic violence never get. In a world where domestic violence is taking place at any given moment, even right now as I am making this video, there are people who wish that others on the outside would see what's taking place. How do I know this? I have been helping people out of toxic relationships for the past 5 years. Many people feel completely alone and isolated because nobody seems to understand. Nobody sees it. I deal with people who feel like they have to convince others that they're in an abusive relationship because others just don't see it. This is the reality of the world that we live in. This is the reality of narcissistic abuse. And those of you who have been in toxic relationships, you know what I'm talking about. Where you feel like nobody else sees it, just you. Now with Gabby Petito, we see not just one, but 3 instances of lifelines being thrown to her. The first one was a park ranger who came forward. This woman said, I saw Gabby and I talked to her and I said, you don't belong in that relationship. You deserve better.
The park ranger now says, I was asking her if she was happy in the relationship with him, and basically saying this was an opportunity for her to find another path to make a change in her life. But Gabby told the park ranger she wanted to stay with Laundrie.
This was a lifeline. This was somebody looking at Gabby saying, I see you splashing around and you're in deep water, Gabby. You're in trouble. Here's a lifeline. Take it. Let me talk to you. Let me get you out of there. And that wasn't the only one. That was one person who threw Gabby the lifeline. And then we had another man who saw and witnessed Brian Laundrie slapping her and hitting her. This was another lifeline. And he called the police for her on her behalf. Somebody from the outside who says, I see you. I see what's going on. I'm calling. And he called the cavalry. He called the police.
We drove by and the gentleman was slapping the girl.
He was slapping her?
Yes, and then we stopped. They ran up and down the sidewalk. He proceeded to hit her, hopped in the car, and they drove off.
Okay, you said it's a white van?
White van. I give you the license plate. Just give me 1 sec.
And listen, I'm saying this passionately because I know that people in toxic, abusive relationships wish that somebody else would have seen what was going on behind the closed doors. I deal with people who never had the opportunity to have anybody else witness it. And so the cavalry was called. So that's the second one. And the third one, the final one, was the cavalry showed up. The saviors showed up. And a lot of people, a lot of you watching, want to point at the police and say they didn't do a good enough job. Look more closely at the footage. Look at the body cam footage, because what you're going to see is an outward stretched hand by police officers saying, did he hit you?
The other side of your face? So, what happened here and here?
I'm not sure. It was a...
So there's 2 people that came to us and told us that they saw him hit you. There's 2 people saying that they saw him punch you. We're just independent witnesses by Moonflower. Did he hit you though? I mean, it's okay if you're saying you hit him, and then I understand if he hit you, but we want to know the truth if he actually...
He didn't hit me in the face. Like, he didn't punch me in the face or anything.
Did he slap your face or what?
What I see when I'm seeing that police cam footage is I see police officers saying, Gabby, just give me a reason. Give me one reason to take you out. We're here. The cavalry is here. There's 3 squad cars. He can't hurt you. We're here. Take my hand, but you have to take my hand. Gabby, you have to take it. Just reach out and take it. You can hear the police officer saying, did he hit you? It's okay. You can tell me. It's okay, Gabby. Tell me. Tell me if he hit you. I need you to tell me. You have to be honest. Tell me. I can't do anything if you don't talk about it. And what we see is Gabby dismissing it. No, maybe he scratched my face. He scratched it, but I slapped him first. What's an officer supposed to do with that? What is anybody supposed to do with that? Listen, in this life, we can have people throwing us lifelines, but we have to take it. If we're splashing around in deep water, fearful of our lives, and we recognize that people are trying to help, we've got to take it. And this is what I'm talking about, personal responsibility. All Gabby had to do in that moment with that police officer is just say, yes, 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 I'm afraid of him. Yes, I'm afraid. Yes, he's hitting me. Yes, he's locking me out. I don't want to say it too loud even. I just want to whisper it. Yes, help me. That's all she had to do. That's all we have to do. But now we're getting into that deep, dark territory of personal responsibility. We've got to be able to speak up. It's not the police's job to hear what we can't say. Police officers are first responders in situations. They're not first, what do you call it, thinkers. They're responders. Again, they're the boat throwing a lifeline out to somebody drowning in the water saying, we got you, take the rope, we'll take you out. But the person has to grab the rope. You got to grab the lifeline. Otherwise, you're just going to splash around and that's it. And that's what I'm passionate about. That's why I'm here. I'm not victim shaming. I want people to get used to the idea that if you want to stop narcissistic abuse, if you want to stop domestic violence, you've got to muster up the strength and the personal responsibility to say, I've had enough. I'm going to use my voice. I'm going to say something. I'm going to take that rope. I'm going to get out. My hope is that you understand this and that you join me in telling people it's okay to speak up. Because if you don't speak up, it doesn't matter who else witnesses it. It doesn't matter if somebody's talking to you on the street saying, I see you in that relationship, you need to get out, because you're not going to listen to them. It doesn't matter if the police show up and say, this is your outstretched hand. Give us one reason to lock them up and we will. And you don't take it. At some point, we have to accept what you don't want to hear. Personal responsibility. Listen, evil exists in this world we live in. You're not going to get rid of it. For those of you who think that the police are here to get rid of all the evil, you're fooling yourselves. You're fooling yourselves into thinking that evil is not going to exist and somehow it's just going to poof, be gone. Life, this life that we live, is about us making choices, taking personal responsibility of where we go, who we're with, what we're doing. Nobody is going to take as good of care of you as you. You can't expect the police to live your life for you, to tell you, to make you do. I mean, that's called martial law. Who wants that? You know, what's interesting about that is a lot of the people who are probably blaming the police for not doing enough are probably the same people who want to defund the police because they do too much. Because you're confused as to what the role is of first responders. All the while not wanting to take personal responsibility for your own decisions. And so a lot of people out there were going to say, Kevin, you're not fair. It's victim shaming. People don't know how to get out of toxic relationships. That's why I'm talking. And that's why I'm going to keep using my mouth. And hopefully it's going to catch on. And hopefully people are going to be okay and learn that it's right to use your voice, speak up, open your mouth when you're in a relationship and just say, yes, I'm being bullied. Yes. We've got to stop pretending like it's okay. We got to stop pretending that we're okay when we're not. Listen, I want to be a part of your healing journey. I'm here to help you use your voice. Get out of toxic relationships. That's the royal we purpose. So you don't end up like Gabby. Evil will always be here. It's not about getting rid of it. It's about helping people make the best decisions in a world where evil exists. Listen, I do take one-on-one appointments down below in the description box. You can find access to my calendar where we can spend one-on-one time. Telephone calls, WhatsApp, FaceTime, it's all available for you. Text message, consultations. I go live every Monday night for live chat. Saturday morning is Royal We Fellowship, an in-depth Bible study into understanding narcissism in this world. And I'll be back with more videos for you right here on the Royal We.